Welcome, this is your life now, a wasteland where we all take a vow.
Hi there, I'm she, I'm her, I'm the hazard. I'm Mallory and I'm 37 years old.
And I'm Brad. I'm 39 years old. We've been married for 15 years, together for 18 years. We have a 13-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old blue heeler.
Who's very much a second child for us.
She is. She's spoiled. Very
Mm-hmm.
spoiled. We live in Texas.
Spoiled child.
Speaking of the dog, yeah. Anyway.
I have MS. I was diagnosed in 2005. Yes, if you did the math correctly, I was 17 years old, which is still really kind of teaching us different ways that I guess MS is diagnosed and most importantly communicated, but everybody's experience is different. But 17 sure made for its own experiences. But I've had MS for 19 years. I had an exacerbation in 2012, which, I mean, we deal with subtle, minor flares of all the things, meaning tingling, numbness, and fatigue and weakness. But major flare was in 2012. If you are joining us on audio only or reading the transcript or any of the shorts, you may not see that I'm in a power wheelchair. And I worked from the power wheelchair for many years. I was in healthcare. I worked in leadership in the healthcare industry for, 18 years before we decided and made the decision that I'd step away from the workforce in August 2023. So I'm a little over a year now since I have worked for an organization or a large company. But you know, the year has been an emotional roller coaster maybe, and luckily Brad's amazing and has hung on. It might have been like hanging from the back caboose, but Brad hung on through every emotion that I experienced over this last year. But you know, as I mentioned, when you're diagnosed at 17, like, you don't realize, like, you just jumped right into life and acted like nothing ever happened. And at the end of the day, you know, I found myself grieving 18 years later, once I stepped out of, you know, a career. And then, you know, after that, you know, grieving, and then, you know, just really trying to find your purpose. And I don't know if it's the same as retirement / moving into disability. You know, I really enjoy people and people's stories, and these are the things I ask people I know is, what's retirement like? What's the transition like? Because it's just, you know, it's a really isolating circumstance and situation, having MS alone, but transitioning out of, you know, working an active lifestyle of a career at 36, young married couple with a young child. It's nothing was relatable for us. We couldn't find anything that, or any object, any hobby that really replaced the sense of community you feel when someone can share that experience. So it just, you know, the Lord really worked on me for a year to realize the importance and value that my work history could bring and our experience could bring to this project for us, this mission. So my MS is currently in a relapsing remitting state, and my 6-month follow-up in August was, you know, kind of slap in the face. I cried for
Week.
Would you
Off
say
and
a week?
on for a week. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a day, but And, in all reality, it's that I don't think you realize what you don't know, but I'm so young, and that's all I kept telling myself driving home from the physician's office is, I'm so young, I have a lot of life left to live, yet nothing's working, and I'm doing all the things. That was what was frustrating to me, is I'm doing all the things. Meaning I exercise, I eat right, I all the things. I'm a compliant patient, all the things. So I think that was the day we made the decision that, or the week, I shouldn't say the day, but the week I communicated, like, it is time, everything's been worked out internally with me, and I understand the value of where she's a hazard to herself is going. And I hope, if anything, you just feel like you connect with our story, our circumstance. And I hope it also brings comfort, knowing that you're not alone, you're not experiencing it by yourself. And
I'm saying we've learned a lot over the last 18 years. I mean, I feel like we can provide some good knowledge.
Yeah. Mentally,
yeah.
Physically, but also resources. And really, we're an open book. We're pretty comfortable with being vulnerable with our circumstance. There's nothing that's ever really been off the table. We have prepared some content that we're really excited to get started with. So what to look forward to is some content around our pregnancy with MS, what that was like, what the recommendations were. Additionally, my flare-up, what that was like, and what the outcome was. We also, we're going to talk through my medications. I've been on quite a few throughout my journey, and really the good news is they're all still on the market. And we just changed for various reasons or wishes or side effects. So I do want to talk through those and what our experience was, whether it was a side effect, whether it was frequency, but also I took a lot of measures to take off days of work or eat differently the day of. And so I just want to share what that was like for us. And then, as we mentioned, I worked for a really long time in some high-level leadership positions, and I did that from a wheelchair. And so I feel like that's probably going to be more of like an emotional, like, I don't think anybody really understands the effort that goes into managing a career with a chronic illness alone.
Getting dressed
in a wheelchair
to like go do that leadership
mobility
position.
Devices. And so that one, I don't know, that one, it might be eye-opening for some people, but yeah, so I wanted to talk through, my work experience, but I think that one's going to be more emotion and really, how we carry ourselves to push forward and put an effort in to contribute to society, which I think is really important to have that, to know your purpose and have that feeling even when we're in the state that we are. So, but yeah, so we were talking about that, medication, my work experience. I've also made a lot of really good friends, like, who have rapidly progressed this process and prep for us. I call on my great friends part of my pit crew, really, because I've got some really talented and gifted friends and people, let alone my husband, but that got us up and going and comfortable to produce what we're producing. But in the end, I'm excited to showcase some of those pit crew members and people I consider part of our community that makes our lives easier and makes us successful with, the challenges that we encounter and so forth. So I look forward to inviting others into our home, into our podcast, but welcome to you into our home. That was part of this process too. Because, I've had a lot, you've had a lot of friends, family, random people that just see us in life, that have shown interest in how we do things. So we've had a lot of people cheering us on to get us here, and really pushing us to share our story and welcome others into that story. And so opening up our home was part of that. I had offers to do these things in the community, and it just didn't make sense. We have MS, right? So to have to pull me out of the house and schedule long periods of time and do the same for our family, et cetera, et cetera. So look forward to material from our office setting, from us and friends, hopefully soon.
And also, like, traveling. We're hoping to talk about dating.
Yeah.
From with a significant other or girlfriend, boyfriend, what have you, in a wheelchair, or just with an illness, chronic illness in itself.
Yeah.
It's sometimes can be really different.
Yeah, very.
Very, very different. Yeah.
I just want to thank you to those who have encouraged us to do this, those who have helped us get all this set up, but also those that are eager to connect further with us.
If you're excited about the content we're creating, please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and find us wherever you get your podcasts.